I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to ask you two things. I'm not going to ask you for any money. I want to ask you, first of all, for your patience and for your time to listen to this presentation. That's going to run about 20-some minutes or so. And then there'll be a couple other presentations that will precede or follow this announcement and instructions on the taking down of the Mellon Bank. All I ask you for is your time. Will you give me that? Will you set aside the time? Don't turn me off, but just listen to the very end of what I have to say. Can I talk to you about joining with the ATLAH Church and others at ATLAH to take down the Mellon Bank, the Bank of New York Mellon Bank? That is a $50 trillion banking institution with over $47 trillion in assets, money that they are managing that belongs to other people. Now, they're not like a Wells Fargo or some other bank, JP Morgan Chase. You walk in and open a checking account. You only go to the Mellon Bank if you got a couple of $1 trillion or $1 billion or so, and they manage that for you. Now, most of the money, if not all of the money in the Mellon Bank that is now leveled a $3.1 million foreclosure action against our dearly beloved church here in Harlem, ATLAH, New York City, to shut down our school where we educate children kindergarten through high school, shut down our homeless shelter that we've been running for 40 years, our breakfast program that we feed children from all over Harlem. There's no fee. The breakfasts are made fresh from scratch. You come to our breakfast, any child from anywhere in New York City or any place else, you can get to our church at 7:30 in the morning. We'll make you a breakfast, scrambled eggs or eggs over easy or, eggs at all, just oatmeal and milk. The Mellon Bank is partner to a foreclosure action that is taking place grievously in the New York Supreme Court system by two very biased judges. I'm going to come back to them. But I want to ask you to join with me to shut down the Mellon Bank the way they want to shut us down. And I want to say on this item, need to be an eye for an eye. We need to shut down the Mellon Bank, and what's left of the $50 trillion that the Mellon Bank is now managing ought to come to us poor people. The money that's in the Mellon Bank, it goes all the way back to the days of Rockefeller, all the way back to the days of the J.P. Morgan, all the way back to the Vanderbilts, to the Carnegies, to all the wealthy people of the days of the early Industrial Revolution money. Much of that money also comes from England, and a lot of it, whether, this is a pleasant conversation or not, is slave money, money that was made during the slave trade. A lot of that money that John Kennedy made selling bootleg liquor. A lot of the money that corporations have made, medical corporations have made, that drug company making those fentanyl drugs have made billions of dollars killing people, especially poor white people all over the miserable poor South. And all that money is in the Mellon Bank. I want to ask you, join with me. Let's take this bank down. We can do it. During the subprime mortgage time, during the Bush administration, when the banks were bundling money, mortgages, and making loans to poor people who they knew didn't have the money to make the mortgage payment, and then the market crashed in 2008, people lost their homes, people committed suicide, and the bankers that wrote these phony mortgages, then bundled the mortgages and sold it to China, not one banker went to jail while people lost their homes, people committed suicide, families were destroyed, schools uprooted, misery. Even today, people are still suffering from that subprime mortgage that happened in the market crash in 2008, but not one banker went to jail. Yeah, Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and AIG, they collapsed, but the presidents and the salesperson, the executive of Bear Stearns, AIG, and Lehman Brothers, They all went and worked and took their golden parachutes for $500 million and just went to another corporation. It's not right. It's time we take the Mellon Bank down. I think they have now attacked the wrong person by taking the ATLAH World Missionary Church, the Bethel. We need to take them down. We can take them down. I want to ask you to join with me in taking down the Mellon Bank. Now here's what I want to help you do. As you know, we had a 5-day all-day protest against the Mellon Bank from the 15th of August to the 19th of August. We was out in front of that bank all day for 5 days. Here's what I want to ask you. I want to lay out a plan. I want to ask you to join me. We can take down, it is not invincible. We can take that bank down. We can make them wish they never foreclosed on anybody's property. But here's what we want to do. The largest asset depositor in the Mellon Bank is a person by the name of Warren Buffett, who is the president of Berkshire Industries, one of the richest men on the planet, Warren Buffett. That's where he puts his money. They protect his money. They hide his money. They keep it from the government. They keep it from the tax collector. They got guns protecting Warren Buffett's money. He's of the 10 the largest depositors of assets into the Mellon Bank is Warren Buffett. We need to go after Warren Buffett. We need to now find out what his schedule is. Is he going to be here in New York? We need to be outside his hotel, outside the business meeting, outside the airport. Maybe we need 5, 6, 10 people with picket signs saying Warren Buffett forecloses on a church in Harlem, puts school children in the street. We need to follow him like his shadow. We need to follow him like we are his security everywhere Warren Buffett is at. And what I'd like to be able to do, right here, I'm in here in New York. Warren Buffett lives out here. He says he got the house that he grew up in someplace out there in the Midwest. I don't know where it's at. But let's say Warren Buffett going to be in Silicon Valley. Well, we need to get some people in Silicon Valley to protest when Warren Buffett is having a meeting out there. Let's say Warren Buffett is going to be in Los Angeles someplace. We got his date, we got his calendar, we got his schedule. 5 to 7 people with signs out saying Warren Buffett forecloses churches. Warren Buffett has joined with the Mellon Bank to foreclose churches. Here's what I want to ask you to do. We need to put a day-by-day, 1 full year tracking of Warren Buffett. Everywhere he's at, there's 5 to 7 protesters out there that says Warren Buffett joins with the Mellon Bank in closing down churches in Harlem. Everywhere he goes. And we don't need no big old crowd of people. All we need is we need to let Warren Buffett know we're going to take you down. See, nobody's ever done this. And if anybody ever thought about doing something, Warren Buffett has got enough money to pay off a person such as myself, who's the organizer, drop a couple of $1 million on me, and even may pay off the lien. And that way the whole thing goes away. It ain't going to happen like that. Not with me. See, the way these people keep their nose clean, the way these people, they got enough money to buy anybody's soul. They can buy a man's soul. That's if somebody else came up with something like this, no matter what city Warren Buffett is in, whether it's in Dallas, we're going to have somebody in Dallas protest him. If he's in Miami, we're going to have somebody in Miami protest him. If he is in Washington, D.C., we're going to have somebody in Washington, D.C. protest him. If he's in Boston, we're going to have somebody in Boston protest him. See, somebody else could have come up with this. I'm not necessarily the first one to think about something like this, of actually everywhere Warren Buffett is, signs out there saying Warren Buffett cohorts with the Mellon Bank to foreclose a church in Harlem and throw school children into the street. He's not going to like that at all. He can't get away from it. We can set up a net for him where he can't wiggle nor snot. We can get him. But see, the way they keep their nose clean is they take a person like me, they say, well, we'll give him $5 million. We'll even pay off the what they call, and he'll just shut up and go away. But not me. You know I ain't going to go. So I want to ask you to join with me. Now, I'm gonna ask our engineer to put up a way in which you can contact me. You can register to be a part of this. I'm going to redux this, and you can register go to ATLAH Media Network. Now, the engineer, Mr. Engineer, one of the engineers just brought in another place for the meeting of the judicial review. Yeah, you can, for the time being, you can sign up here, this class action judicial review. You can sign up here if you live in Los Angeles, if you live in Seattle, Washington, you live in Miami. Just sign up. And we need to put together an army of people that everywhere Warren Buffett shows up, we're going to have signs saying Warren Buffett foreclosed on a church in Harlem and threw people in a homeless shelter into the street and threw children into the street. This is going to be up on our website. Going to be up on Facebook, going to be on our website, going to be up everywhere so you can sign up for that. All right, that's number one. So we need to take Warren Buffett down. Take Mellon Bank down by taking down, go after Warren Buffett. Now, he's not the only one. We need to take down the American Baptist churches that threw me out of the American Baptist churches because I said Obama wasn't a black man, wasn't the first black president. And I said that the Bible says in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, that man shall not lie with mankind as with woman. They kicked me out of the American Baptist churches. But I want to put up the picture of the regional director of the American Baptist churches here in New York, because she is instrumental in Pope pastors all over America and everywhere else putting their money in the Mellon Bank. Her name, she calls herself the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Dudley. I don't know what all that means. Baptist people got all these crazy kind of titles that they like to call themselves, reverends and doctors. But we need to, wherever this reverend's going to be, we need to go outside of her church. We need to go outside of her church and show, if she's preaching somewhere in New York or Westchester, New York City, on a Sunday morning, we're going to get members to go outside and stand outside of her church and say the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Dudley and the American Baptist churches participates hand in hand with the Mellon Bank in closing down and foreclosing the ATLAH Church and throwing the homeless people into the street and throwing the school children. I can do that locally, but I'll ask for other people to join with me that wherever the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Dudley is appearing, that we're going to be outside that church on Sunday morning. If she's having a meeting downtown with the mayor, we're going to be outside City Hall. If she's having lunch at a restaurant somewhere, we find out where she's having lunch, we're going to be out there. And all it takes is about 5 to 7 people. We don't need no big crowd. Because the American Baptist churches, of which I used to be a member, and our church used to be a member of, is being foreclosed on. And Reverend Dr. Cheryl Dudley is in cohort because she puts all the Pope preachers, black and white, from all over America. She puts their retirement money into the Mellon Bank. They ain't the only one. We got this other guy, Louis P. Barbarian. He's a barbarian, a barbaric. Louis P. Barbarian. He's the CEO of the M&M, or Ministers and Missionary Benefit Board, this fella. Now, he's also right here in New York, has his office in the Interchurch building over there on Riverside Drive. I think it's 475 Riverside Drive, just right beside the Riverside Church. Well, we want to be with him. If he's holding a meeting in City Hall, if he's having a meeting at one of the hotels, wherever he is at, we're going to find out what his schedule is. We're going to put 5 to 7 people on him. And if he's traveling all over America, if he's in Chicago, we're going to have 5 to 7 people outside the hotels in Chicago saying that Louis P. Barron, who is the president CEO of the Ministers, Missionary, and Benefit Board, let me explain to you what that is. Every pastor and member that's a missionary of any Baptist church in America or worldwide, he collects money from them, all their retirement money, like the police retirement fund, the fireman's retirement fund, transit workers, somebody collects that money and puts it in a retirement fund. Well, this boy right here, he collects money from every American Baptist church, pastor, and missionary in the world. He collects their missionary, their retirement money, which is big money, and he puts it in the Mellon Bank. That's where he puts it. Just like Warren Buffett puts his money there, this boy puts poor people's money. In fact, I used to be a part of that process where he put my money in the Mellon Bank. We want to be on this case like white on rice. Warren Buffett first. Warren Buffett, the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Hudley, and this boy, Louis the Barbaric. We want to be on him. Now, I want to put together a program. I want volunteers. If you want to help, and no matter what city they're appearing in, I want to put up a registration form where you can register and we can coordinate. We ought to be able to get this together in the next couple of months, and wherever Warren Buffett goes, wherever Louis the Barbaric goes, wherever Cheryl the Ducker goes, we want to get them. But that ain't all. There's one other person. I think we want to take down the Mellon Bank. Now, the way we take down the Mellon Bank is to take down the people that put their money in the Mellon Bank. Tell them the Mellon Bank president, this guy, what's his name, Vince Robbins or Robbins, they've got a new, I think they may have just elected this guy since we were down there. He just got elected president last month. His name is Robbie Vincent. He's now the president of the Mellon Bank. Look at him. We don't have to worry about him. Warren Buffett will talk to him. Louis the Barbaric will talk to him. Cheryl the Ducker will talk to him. But there's one other. We can take, listen to me. We can do this. We don't need no 50,000 people. We don't need no large crowd. You know, we can take everywhere they outside their hotel, outside their meeting place. You got 5 people out there with signs that said Warren Buffett participated in the foreclosure of the ATLAH Church and closing down the ATLAH High School, closing down the homeless shelter, and closing down the children's breakfast program. He ain't gonna like that when he walks out that hotel and sees people standing out there with signs that said he closed down a children's breakfast program. He ain't gonna like that. And he'll ask how he did it. You did it because you put your money in the Mellon Bank. We gonna shut down the Mellon Bank. We can do this. There's one other person. There's another person. I think her name is Jeanette Hill. Jeanette Hill is the president of the Lilly Endowment. She's just been elected, just installed as the Lilly Endowment group. Now, the Lilly Endowment makes donations, charitable contribution donations. They collect money from very wealthy people, and then they give it to other people. Well, the Ministers' Missionary and Benefit Board is asking you to give money to them to support the Ministers and Missionaries Retirement Program. And for every dollar that an individual gives, this Jeanette Hill of the Lilly Endowment will give a matching dollar. I think we have some sort of a placard demonstrating that. We'll put it up. But we want to be able to shut her down as well. Now listen, friends, we can do this. We can shut down the Mellon Bank. They don't know who they're messing with. I done told them. They don't know. I ain't gonna let them shut down this church. And they will shut down this church and go off and have coffee and crumpets and tea. No, they don't know. They done picked on the wrong. All we need is 5 people in Dallas. 5 people here in New York City. Warren Buffett shows up, we're going to be outside your hotel, bro. You know, Louis the Barbaric show up, we're going to be outside your hotel. We're going to be outside your meeting, bro. Cheryl the Ducker, Dr. Ducker, Cheryl the Ducker. You preaching a church up in Westchester County? We're going to be outside that church on Sunday morning. Oh, yes, we are. 5 people, even 3 people. That's all it takes. In cohorts with the Mellon Bank, everybody in the world knows, we put it in the New York Times, that the Mellon Bank is foreclosing our church, and not one of these people, not Cheryl the Ducker, not Louis the Barbaric, not Warren Buffett, anybody said, hey, why y'all doing that to that church? $3 million and no school children. Why y'all doing? Not one of them. We gonna tell you? No. We can do this, my brothers and sisters. We can do this. So I want you to join with me in this process. And we want to get it launched. Mr. Engineer, now we have also asked people who've had their property foreclosed unjustly, and especially by Judge Arlene Bluth and Judge Francis Kahn, if they have participated in the foreclosure of your property here in the New York City area. I'm going to hold a meeting on the 23rd of September at 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm asking you to come. Get registered and come, and we're going to set together a judicial review of the foreclosures going back for the last 20 years. Now, I know what do we call it, the time of action limit of expectations of, I forget the word I'm looking for now. But we're going to look at whether or not your property has been, all this property up here in Harlem that's been taken, we're going to review it. We're going to call for a class action review. And we will clog up the courts with show cause orders. They can say, well, the time that you should have acted was 5 years ago. We'll file another show cause order. And we will clog up the courts. And every show cause order in the courts in New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island will have to be responded to. They won't be able to do nothing else. I want to ask you two things. One is, join with me, get registered. Let me know you're coming. I'm a little skeptical of people who don't register, can't just walk up here because you might be the man. You follow what I'm saying? So you want to come to this meeting in our church, we got security here. You see what I'm saying? You got to get registered. I can't let you just walk up the door that on the 23rd of September. You just walk up here and say, well, I want to join this meeting. My property was foreclosed. I don't know. You might be the man. But get registered, and then we can talk before you come. But we want to set together a class action. We're gonna stop this. We're gonna stop taking people, these city people, these gangsters and banksters, taking people's property, and ain't nobody crying foul. None of these bankers going to jail. None of these judges going to jail. Look at what's happening right now with the Department of Justice and the FBI. And these judges making all these crazy decisions. They just do that to people and nobody says anything. Well, it's going to stop right now. Now, I also want you to use this same sign-up sign until we get another one that says, Pastor, I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'll be a part of the protest if Warren Buffett or if Louis the Barbaric or Cheryl the Ducker or Jenny the Hill, Jenny, if they show up anywhere and we know they're going to be in town, we'll be outside their restaurant. I need people from all over America to sign up. So use this form, which is the unjust evictions and foreclosure in New York courts. But and you can indicate, Pastor, I'm signing up from Chicago because I want to be a part of the 5 people that are going to be outside of the Sheraton Hotel, or the Marriott Hotel in Chicago, if Warren Buffett shows up out there. We can do this. We can take, it's an eye for an eye. Listen, let me tell you something. These people, these depositors, they've been taking money from people since the Mayflower, and you know it. They've been crushing people, little people. They've been taking mom and pop property. They've been taking people and jacking up interest and foreclosing people since the Mayflower. You know they've been doing it. And they're just not doing it here in Harlem. They're doing it everywhere. They're doing it out in Honolulu, out in Hawaii. They're doing it everywhere. Because they figure ain't nobody going to stop them. And they don't never go to jail. You don't never hear of a banker when the stock market crash, people lose their retirement money. You don't never hear these bankers going to jail. They don't ever go to jail. We got something for them. I got something for them. I want you to join with me. We can do this. They don't deserve to keep on robbing and stealing, paying off judges, paying off politicians, paying off police. They don't deserve. They don't deserve why? We can stop them. I'm telling you about it. We can stop them. So we're going to start with Warren Buffett. Now, finally, here's what our demands are going to be. Say, well, you want us outside Warren Buffett? Here's our demand. Demand number 1 is that there be a full dismissal of the foreclosure action against the Bethelite Community Baptist Church and the ATLAH World Missionary Church. A full, completely dismissal of the entire foreclosure action. That's number 1. Number 2, that we get paid the $650,000 legal fees. Now, when I make mention of this, you say, well, Pastor Manny, I'm going to help you, but you mean you're asking for money? Listen, let me explain something to you, brother. I'm not trying to rob anybody. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. But we have been fighting this case since 2002. I can give you the docket number, and you can look it up. It's 133-197/09. 133-197/09. /09. You can see we've been fighting this since 2002. And over the past 20 years, we have spent over $650,000 in legal fees. We spent $100,000 in the New York Times ad, and I'll get to that another time. We had to do that because the lawyers weren't getting us the kind of justice that we need. We need to get the attention of the judges. And then we spent another $75,000 advertising in other places. $650,000, we want it back, our legal expenses. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. Please understand that, and I'll talk to you about this. But you can see, this is case has been going on for 20 years. For 20 years, that's how much money we spent paying lawyers that also have ripped us off. And then we want Warren Buffett to put his signature and his weight behind a judicial review of the foreclosure of poor people's property all over America. That's right, but especially here in New York. Want Warren Buffett to put his weight, because we have the power to break. We can make Warren Buffett go poor too. No, we can find out where he's getting his money from. No, we can organize. This is the best financial organizing plan since Adam Smith. I'm telling you, this is better than Coca-Cola. No, we got a patent here. We got something. What I've just laid out about a nationwide protest against Warren Buffett, a nationwide protest against Louis the Barbarian. His name is Louis Barbarian. A nationwide protest against the Mellon Bank. This is Coca-Cola type stuff by Coca-Cola. You know, they found a secret of making Cokes and just keep producing the same thing, and it took the world by storm. We got to make, this is a McDonald's plan that I've just outlined. It's beautiful, I tell you. And we can take down Warren Buffett. We can take down the Mellon Bank. Now, somebody else probably could have thought about this, something like this, some time ago, but usually they buy off a person like me. They would even pay, to be able to stop this, they'd be willing to pay $400 or $500 million for me to shut my mouth. But I ain't shutting my mouth. The pain in my heart, the sleepless nights I've had, the people I know that have committed suicide because their houses are being foreclosed. You can't buy that. You can't buy me. You can't buy me. But I can tell you this, if y'all are listening to me, this works. This works. And they know it works. They know it works. So we want full judicial review of the life of the foreclosure of Judge Bluth and Judge Kahn. And then we want the Mellon Bank, rather than giving me money, I want them to give $100 million to Mercy Ships, that program that sails the world, helping children who have cleft lips, crazy bones that are disformed, lives just out of whack. And they do a 45-minute surgery and put these $100 million to my favorite charity, Mercy Ship. My friends, we can do this. Come on, you can join with me. Pastors, business leaders, individuals, men, women, school children. Come on, join. We can stop Wall Street. We can take them down. And they don't need no big crowd. Just 5 people in every city who are dedicated. Warren Buffett, you show up in Chicago, we're going to be outside the hotel before you get in your car. Warren Buffett has acted in cohorts with the Mellon Bank to foreclose a church, a 62-year church in Harlem that's had a homeless shelter for 40 years. A high school that is whose graduates from the high school, the ATLAH High School, have been accepted at Yale, Juilliard, Cardozo Law School, New York Law School, New York University, Fordham University, St. John's University, Adelphi, and the beat goes on, Berkeley College. And Warren Buffett and the Mellon Bank and Vince Robin want to foreclose that church for $3.1 million on what initiative. Now listen to this. This will really get you. Back in 2002, the initial lien sold to the Mellon Bank was only $36,000. But that Judge Francis A. Kahn III, who is a major supporter, a tireless supporter, an advocate of no small ability to the LGBTQ, awarded the Mellon Bank 18% interest, which is illegal, inappropriate, but I believe that he did it to punish us because we are anti-LGBTQ. And he's an LGBTQ lifetime member of the gay and straight community. And he's punishing us by making sure we don't find the money. Because where we really owed the money to the city of $36,000 at a legal interest at about 7%, over the 20 years, it would only be about $400,000. But at 18% compound interest daily that this judge and he knew it was illegal when he gave it. He knew it was inappropriate. He knew the city council had voted not to do this, but he did it anyway, which sent what could have been $400,000 to $3.1 million and said, sell the church, and did it in a rant. I tried to speak to him. He shut down the mic. The short guy, the short, fat one, short, fat con. We can do this, everybody. We can do this. I'll tell you this, whether you help me or not, I pray that you will. I believe many of you will. I will not falter, and I will not relent. Because if they take their church, they're going to take my life. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for the life of these children. I'm fighting for the life of the homeless people. I'm fighting for the life of the elderly. I'm fighting for the people that have worked so many years to build up this church, and then they just going to come and take it like that. I will not relent. I will not falter. I will not relent. I will not. I will not. Join me. Get registered. The registration, I know it says one thing, signing up for the judicial review, but until we can get another item formed, we may have one now at the back end here that you can register. But get registered in every city in America. Wherever Warren Buffett goes, we're going to be right there. Wherever Jenny Hill goes, we're going to be right there. Wherever Cheryl Dudley preaches or holds a meeting, we're going to be right outside that building until they relent, till they dismiss these charges. Y'all stay with me. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you. Jesus, we bless your name. We bless your name. We bless your name. We bless your name. A whole lot of people committed suicide because of foreclosure and had nobody to turn to. But American Baptist churches to sit there on their self-righteous behinds and let the Mellon Bank foreclose our church. For that Louis Barbarian, or Louis the Barbaric, and for that Cheryl the Ducker to sit there on their unrighteous behinds and let this happen, we gonna see to it that you understand that God is still on the throne. You may be on your unrighteous buttocks, but God is still on the throne. And I'm his servant. I'm the Lord's servant. James David Manning. Hallelujah. Peace. The Mellon Bank, to Judge Bluth, and to Judge Francis A. Kahn III, we shall not be moved.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Sing it. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved.
In the midst of war we fight on, standing on the word of God we stand strong.
We shall not be moved. We're not afraid and ain't backing down. There's a new sheriff here in this town. We shall not be moved. You can't try, but you won't succeed. The time is drawn closer when you will believe. We shall not be moved. For God to have mercy on your poor soul, you'll find out soon you're not in control. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not be moved. We shall
We're gonna tear your kingdom straight down, and when we're done, you won't be around.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Your brother leads down and do it right now. You trust the Holy Spirit that we will all have. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not. Yeah. We shall not be moved. Ooh. We shall not. No. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not. Yeah. We shall not be moved. We shall not. No. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not. Yeah. We shall not be moved. We shall not. We shall not be moved. Singing, we shall not. We shall not be moved. We shall not. We shall not be moved. 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 We shall not be moved.
Dance it up now.
We shall not be moved.
Clap with us now.
We shall not be moved.
Sing with us now.
We shall not be moved.
Come on now.
We shall not be moved.
Come on now.
We shall not be moved. 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 We shall not be moved.
Pastor Manny now.
We shall not be moved.
Mother Manny now.
We shall not be moved.
All the elders now.
We shall not be moved.
All the mothers now.
We shall not be moved.
Come on, stop your feet.
We shall not be moved.
Come on, clap your hands.
We shall not be moved.
Sing it.
We shall not be moved.
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 We shall not be moved.